Any deer out there?
There wasn't as much.
Yeah, Taylor got one.
They had water damage.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, I'm supposed to ask you, did you put up new tree stands?
What's up, Kenny?
I moved one.
When I said in person,
If you got some time.
Close to the one that was already there?
but I won't be here.
Alright.
I'm leaving at 20
No,
after
Tim.
whatever business we're in.
Well, I mean, even if it's just to look at it until the next month.
Oh, okay.
I told them I wanted to get it now, get you guys looking at some of the cod regulations.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also, an
Someone.
amendment to the area wide zoning ordinance on
About 10 feet from
the restrictions along streams.
What he said.
We'll just get your guys' thoughts on it before I
I think we
do.
were kind of talking about some of that upstairs. That White Oak thing or that White Plains.
Did you get any?
So, like I said, I just wanted you guys thinking about it and get your opinions on it before I go to the ABC with it.
Okay.
Let's see, or they can't do nothing down there until they get, they gotta redo all the electric,
Yeah.
because it was down there, so.
Yeah. Taylor's has a messed up rack. Pinpoint.
I was talking to somebody else, Kenny. I was talking to somebody else that had property down there, family, and they totally lost everything. It's all gone.
Well, there was two people in Grant County that lost everything.
Really.
But when I went down there, I was on the third floor. Then I was on top,
No,
I was on the third. I can jump out of the area. I can jump out of the third if I had to.
It was
Where did I was just,
He thinks he was just, talking about.
Well, I don't have.
He's got a climber.
Yeah.
It's,
Brian, do you have a copy of whatever I need to?
Yes,
It's not that close. It's within the shooting distance.
Thank you, thank you.
Exactly.
When he talks, he's out here.
she was gonna print some.
I'm gonna get it on, I'll bet it, I'll get it on the
But
website.
be nice, well, I can.
I'll get it. Yeah, thank you though.
Right away, well, it's got one behind one. So a lot of county surveyors are being the ditch or the pond police now. Really? Yeah. Which is still permitted to go through area plan, but we would have to approve it if you get that.
Can you pass that down to Barb?
Those are considered part of the drainage plan, though, with it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gordon? Andy?
That's the one you guys got to approve. Everybody's got a new agenda? Everybody's got the agenda now? Yeah. Because of constraint of time, I'm gonna, I think we're already at 2 minutes after. Yeah. All right. We will call the Grant County Drainage Board to order December 13, noting all 5 members are present, excuse me, recovering from upper respiratory. We've got the minutes in front of us. Do you have any question, comments, corrections?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Mr. Cates,
Second.
approved minutes. Second, Mr. Cox. Any discussion on those? Hearing none, all those in favor would say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those abstaining? Carried 4-1 abstention. And we will go through the first batch of claims, sir.
Gates Brothers, $847 on Potter Creek, $52,257 in the fund. IMI, Stone, $7,350.06. There's $82,373 in the fund. This, that was, Stone brought in to fix bad erosion areas on Big Black, or Barron Creek. Rail Engineering, $960 on Barron Creek. Peerless Printing, $51.01 for office supplies. Redmond Excavating, $6,323 $6,338 on Barron Creek, 82,000 in the fund. Redmond Excavating, $8,764.11 on Barron Creek.
Wait a minute. Back up there on that first Redmond. Is it 6,300 or is it 63,000?
6,000,
Well, this is on her.
It says 63238.
right, it was $6,323.80.
80 cents, okay, adjustment. Okay.
Thanks for catching that.
You put one too many,
Well, with her and.
Maybe Justin point in the wrong spot.
got a 2 in there, it's not.
Well, he'll be happy when he gets that check.
The 8,000 was regular contracting work, the other riprap and the 6,000, we took some extra trees out that wasn't took out in the past, it's deflecting. He had banks washed straight up and down on the main channel. And, he's been waiting all this time to get that erosion fixed on Barron Creek. I mean, it was bad. We made a couple of rock chutes out of that and fixed 4 or 5 straight up and down washouts.
Still got a pretty healthy balance even with those payouts today.
Yeah, and the leach problem is gonna be the last one in the whole 5-tier system to be worked on. It's waiting on, so we didn't want to spend a whole lot of money, but we had to add that on. The other one was that unnamed branch, brushing and cleaning it out, and that was his contract amount, $8,764.
Ready for a motion, or we got more questions on the payments?
Who would pay these claims?
Mr. Cox,
Second.
second, Mr. Goff. Right? Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor would say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Believe that was unanimous. Let's go on to the next batch.
Chronicle Tribune, $40.46 on Hummel Creek. And Drury Simmons and Borum, $5,399. Hopefully we're done there.
No, we're, we do that certification.
Heard Mr. Cates make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Pinkerton. And just for clarification, go ahead and say that again. We still have a little bit of calculating on cost there yet.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the bridge board certification that he's had.
All right. So let's go ahead and we had motion with support there. All those in favor would say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those abstaining?
Abstain.
Carried 4-1 abstention. There is a slight possibility we will still see some more expense here, gentlemen, over the possibility of a remonstrance, but we will, we're putting a calculation together so that we can go to the county council and ask for the amount back, an appropriation to get that so we can move that money into Hummel Creek and then pay back our general drain improvement.
File a motion, or are you gonna pay the bill?
We aren't we still have a few days left on that. We're ought to, I think to the 23rd.
For no, his was up the 5th.
So,
We haven't heard from the court.
Yeah, the certification that you guys signed is what he's redoing. Because it had the word maintenance in it on the heading,
okay.
so I don't.
So we're in limbo on that, but
The remonstrance you're thinking of is regarding the maintenance. And that expires the 23rd,
okay, that's for the general maintenance on them.
maintenance fund.
Okay,
Yeah, I did not, Julie only told me that he had 20 days from publication to file a remonstrance with the court. And then 5 days from then, we should have gotten paperwork, and that's come and gone, so we're good.
should be good.
It's going, as soon as I get the certification, I'll need everyone to sign that.
And then we attach it to his
Yeah,
property tax.
except Richard, because he had to.
Right.
Questions, all 3 brothers have to sign it? 3 brothers is on that farm up there, is all 3?
No, we're talking about Ott right now.
Oh, Otto, he's history.
Only one of them objected.
Yeah, only one objected. But I've
He
got-
represented his land. The other two didn't write letters of objection.
Okay. We got one more bill to pay.
This Kenny Cates to abstain. Bragg Excavating, $1,997 on Pipe Creek, $137,000 in the fund. This was large beaver dam in Miami County, which they're after the beavers, but, they got a bridge that the water was backed up on too deep to do their engineering work. Miami County Surveyor took care of it. We paid the bill. They send us their money.
We would pay this claim.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Cox, second, Mr. Goff. Halfway there, bro. Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor would say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those abstaining? So we got 4-1 abstention. Any other bills or financial matters we need to talk on right now?
No.
I haven't gotten the fall settlement posted yet, because I'm still waiting on the auditor's office. And I'm still waiting on the treasurer's office to get the, October, November interest.
Okay.
As soon as I get those, and I'll get you all printout of the balances of the ditches.
Right. This may be an unanswered question, and I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, but because we have approved the Hummel ditch assessment, even though it's in remonstrance or a possibility, will we still, because we've certified that, be able to attach it to the property taxes?
You're talking about the maintenance one, right?
Yes.
The new one.
Yeah, I think it continues.
So we'll continue that process unless the court says, no, we can't do it.
Right.
All right. Okay, under old business, Little Crane Pond, that's city work. Hummel Creek, we're still waiting. Not doing anything with solar right now. The Crane Pond ditch question with Purdom Cates issue, easement issue. We heard testimony from Mr. Purdom last go around that you had agreed to a very interesting amount of feet there, Wendell, 25 feet.
That did not come from me.
Would you join us up at the podium and share with us where you think we need to be?
I questioned that because you two were down there measuring and I thought you was measuring 40.
We measured 45 out into his yard. It's marked at 45. And, I told him I'll give him one chance for 45. And if he balks, it's going back to 75. That was what I told him that day.
And he reported to the board that we tore his yard up and we never set foot in the yard with equipment or anything.
No,
Totally wrecked it.
no, we was never.
Totally wrecked it.
Yeah, and, no, he, I've had enough cussings out of him that I don't need to tolerate them kind of people. But my opinion, for somebody that's just paying $10 assessment, he ought to get 75 feet. But I would really like to see these people that are trying to reduce their easement to take them up to $200 a house. I'm tired of that housing addition out there really causing us fits, costing us.
Needs to be at least
22
50.
homes.
Pardon?
There's 22 homes.
Oh, there is?
There's 22 homes. There's 691 homes in that watershed, but there's 22 homes in there that were played with.
But right up to the easement.
Could we do
For
that?
$10 a home.
If we reduce their easement, raise their rate?
That's a Kyle question.
Let's just don't let them reduce the easement. That's
Not right.
Okay, I like that idea.
Now, Pat is, one time the city was paying theirs because you charged water user fee or something. Does that still work or they stop that?
No, a lot of the assessments were higher than what we collect from the stormwater utility, so, no, we don't pay the big one.
But
Yeah, I could see it being, needing to be 50, because that's, and then if there's a few small towns where we charge 100. That's their highest.
but you know, Andy is the contractor out there. I can't think of Rickner. Andy told him that day, he said, I can work in 25 feet. And I pulled Andy offside and I said, Andy, you can work in 25 feet, but you charge high to work in 25 feet. And that's costing the farm owner.
And we did leave him a couple trees right at the lip of the ditch that he
Yeah.
had to work around.
But,
We're gonna keep an access path mode now. I don't want it to grow up.
and I think Andy's almost done on the other ditch. He might have got done yesterday.
And he went all through that, why didn't we work on the other side? And I had to tell him why we didn't, this is high ground, fence property line.
Is that the one that comes up along Deidre or?
The one that comes up along Gators, he's almost done
I
that.
talked to Wendell.
But we, us farmers have to pay that bill.
I know, but I'm just,
But just like that bill ought to be $4,000 and it's 13,000. Just because of homeowners, we got to haul the silt out, haul the trees out. And, you know, the homeowners are,
He was getting mad, he took his silt away.
yeah. But so, yes, I really disagree with going below 45 and
They want the property to know, if they did know it was 75 foot, that's their problem.
He was under the impression the other one is 25 and it's 40
yes.
on each side.
The one
The
going,
ones on each side of him are 40 already?
the one going east and west,
The
which is
city's
private
green,
tile.
the city's
private.
open ditch.
It's
And we're
not
leaving a
count.
buffer zone because the path of least resistance is the opposite side there. But he's getting to leave that buffer zone, but he thought that was 25, it would help him on this other. It's not, it's 40.
Yeah.
He's not here to defend this.
He was
Right.
supposed to be.
That's his problem.
I move we leave this, easement at 75 foot.
A second.
Have a motion.
We want to be done by 20 hours.
Do we need a motion to not change anything?
Well,
Well,
you've got another point.
we didn't have a full motion going
Board because of its ascension.
because it was basically 2-2 last time, so we didn't put a motion on the floor to act.
Let it die.
So we let that die, so we've got a new motion now to just remain at 75.
Yeah, we really don't
changing
need it.
anything.
We really don't need it. The whole thing just leave it.
75.
It's platted 75.
Do the
He's
lack of a
gonna be
motion.
mad.
Yeah. All right, so we have a motion with support to retain it at 75 feet. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor would say aye. Opposed? Now Kenny wants to move to 30.
Can we, can you get me a name so I can call, remove some beaver dams at Glendale?
I can get that to you.
You can? Yeah, that's what I need to get permission to go.
Are the
in.
Beavers trying to reestablish the
I
bond?
think he
They are
wants to name
established.
one of the homeowners.
Oh, I thought he meant like Morlock or something.
No, the name is Tom Sloan, but I don't.
Some of those dams are not in our easement, they're way out in the big pond.
So what can we do?
I
Can
think
we-
it's going to be-
Well, the subdivision
The other
association,
day was 67 pounds.
Yeah.
the subdivision association, that guy you had come in, he was supposed to take care of the beaver trappers and trap them out of our easement. We could trap them with a professional in our easement, but we can't go out of our easement, and start spending money. I don't, never have.
No.
We can take the dams out. Sullivan's took them out last time, but if nobody's controlling them.
You're thinking
Glendale?
Lomax. He's talking Glendale.
Yeah.
Oh, Glendale. Yeah, there's no
Isn't
money.
that the right name?
Yeah,
Glendale?
Glendale,
Right, sorry, I missed that.
yeah. Because on
Yeah,
the
there's no
Lomax, we
money out
had
there.
all that, yeah.
See, Lomax still got a lot of problems. They're by Meyer.
Yeah,
Right.
but Tom Sloan's our guy. I just don't have his phone number right now.
Okay. Do we have, the gentleman that's doing all our trapping on Pipe Creek right now and down on Little Deer? Little Deer, is that right?
Big deal.
Big Deer?
I don't know which deal you're talking about.
Don
Right
Rice,
down there at 600 and.
that's Don Rice.
600 south and 100, 200, or 100. They, do we have money in the fund to pay him?
Little Deer
Well,
has some.
how do they charge?
Hmm?
How do they charge?
Well, he's never charged us, but we're keeping him pretty busy this year.
Well, here's what I told
If,
Brian.
if it's Big Deer or Little Deer, there's maintenance in there, maintenance that could pay. them.
Yeah.
I told Brian,
I
if there's
can't look it
maintenance
up, my
in there,
computer won't.
just
stop.
charge it, just take it out of,
Sometimes.
But I mean, I don't know what fair is. I don't even know what a beaver man charges, but this guy's always did it free. But I'd like to keep him coming back because he's working pretty hard at it.
Brian was interested in paying his son.
well, that's all
He
right.
had that question, but I don't know what the rates could be, because
I could-
we've only paid professional licensed
I thought
trappers that
you
can
charged
trap them all
us,
season.
Taking out a log jam.
Yeah, it could just be figured as part of the log jam removal.
But we don't get rid of them. You're
No, I know that.
wasting time.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know,
This guy's putting his
we
equipment away.
can't, we can't.
I better
say
quit
we're
talking.
Paying for taking out a beaver.
Vice Chairman is taking over.
Are we ready for a good luck, sir?
What do we?
We still have to hear from area plan director. He's got some information.
So no, I just, I would like to suggest we pay beaver men.
I don't think we could do this as a beaver.
Well, we just call it log jam. But whatever you guys think.
I mean. it's in-
I'm going to the hospital. so
Okay.
You're in charge.
It's in-
Good luck.
As well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when it's out of family season, I think you gotta have a license.
Yeah,
deal. You just charge it.
Yeah.
Sounds like you need to talk to them.
Okay,
But I know a few years ago, I heard a guy on Grassy Ford. He charged so much and so much a beaver. So I just paid it.
well, and that's what, with Brian's son, I mean, I'm sure he's too young, and so I just feel like I can pay the bill and forget that, but, just like Brian, or, Connor, if Connor's interested in doing the job, I'd just leave him get his license and get busy.
Then he might be too busy.
Yeah,
Get too much then.
yeah.
Now, this guy I hired, he had a license to go in and as nuisance. You know, you
Do it anytime.
yeah, do it anytime. That's the problem,
Yeah.
you get the guy who can do it anytime if they get caught.
Well, but, you know, I told Brian just needs to get his license to do it anytime, let Connor take care of it.
Yeah.
Or Colin. So thank you very much for the setback, appreciate it. I need all the help I can get in that addition.
Yeah.
He's gonna be big man.
So
I'm gonna leave then.
what do we got? What do you got for us?
Just bringing a couple things to your
Yeah,
attention.
wait just a minute.
Thank you.
Hey, Wendell, do you want to suggest raising that assessment, $10 assessment?
Yes,
Well, you'll have to sign a paper, right?
can you email it to me?
I sure can.
Yeah, if you email
You
it to
need
me.
a petition,
Pardon?
a petition.
Yeah,
Do you want a, assessment roll as well?
do I want what?
Assessment roll, list all the landowners, acreage.
I think there's only 3, 4, I mean, outside the homes.
Yeah, we want a farm acreage rate recommendation and home
What
site.
about Little Crane Pond?
Yeah, home site will be probably 50. That's what we've been going
'Cause
for.
I would say, yeah, I can't hear 50 very well.
You can, you know.
But, no, I'd like to get that homeowner way up as much as you'll let us go.
There's 70 homes. We might get to 20, you might get to 22. 700 homes.
Yeah.
Might get to 22, but.
Well, but we could get rid of a lot of them homes if we give the east side.
The question.
Well, no, they'll still be in the watershed. They'll still be assessed.
Just those 22 homes.
Even if we give them to the city?
Well, we'll give the open ditch to the city and do away with our easement, but the water still comes that way. They're still in the watershed.
Yeah,
first paying an assessment.
but we need the
So we have to
city.
have input from the city.
Pat's not listening very well.
If they back that up, but I'd be okay.
City ain't ever gonna take it.
You'll take, yeah, I mean, you'll have a lot of homeowners.
Even at
Well,
50,
If it's gonna be that high, you'll have.
even at 50, they'd be calling the mayor.
You'd have to split it
Well, no,
off.
they'll show up to this meeting.
Yeah.
You'd have to split it off some way or something.
Well, I mean, 50 would help a great deal. This thing at $10,
I thought it was already higher than $10. I got raised a long time ago. What's,
It
well,
was
I mean,
5.
first question is gonna be is what is the balance in the fund? And if you're never close to spending all the money in the fund, then why are you raising it?
The water gets away downstream pretty good. At Harold Road, it goes DNR property from there on.
So this is the same ditch though that goes through whatever, it's not Avondale, but the subdivision out there that's got the ponds on it a long time ago.
Yeah, that's
Is
the
that
same
when it got raised to $10?
Right, I think it was. And all those homeowners kicked in $1,000 assessment to disconnect the ditch did come into the ponds and all back up on them, and we took the ditch away from the pond. Pond has its own outlet now and doesn't interfere with the open channel.
so you're saying we can't raise it unless our funds are empty?
I'm just saying that's gonna be a question. I mean, if you're nowhere near needing money in the fund, then why are we raising it?
You look up 10 grand.
Is there a difference
There's
between
still-
those Crane Pond and
Somewhere, I
Crane Pond?
mean, they're like the collection and Andy's
Yes.
25.
Green Pond's the big 24-inch tile that runs down 13th and Buffalo. But, you know, we could work on it. We could have a hearing
Yeah.
next year.
You say next year?
Well, it's too late this year to have a hearing for spring collection.
Christmas is almost here, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen.
It's too late to have a hearing and certify anything for next year's election.
What we have, if we have no agriculture drain anymore.
Very little farm acreage comes
Agriculture
in.
draining through the subdivision. That's the reason we're trying to get one turned over that reason. Because it's not agriculture anymore, it's city. We got the same thing here. I don't know how to go about getting it taken care of. Because Wendell's right, the farm's paying for all this work.
Yeah.
The homeowner's not paying near enough when it's.
You know,
costing
homeowners put a lot of water
to do
in.
it Because of the.
Your meeting's about to end.
So
Thank you.
can we go to,
Right.
okay, thank you.
You'll know me, Brian Malone, I'm the area plan director. I just got a couple of things I wanted to bring to you guys. As you're aware, there are things that overlap between drainage board and area plan, health department and so forth. And I don't think a lot of this stuff got brought in front of you guys in the past. And one of the reasons when you guys were talking about Crane Pond and talking about the fences and moving the fences and, you know, your guys' Indiana code compared to our Indiana code and our ordinances allow fences within 75 foot. And I've kind of put that on the one sheet. The Grant County area-wide ordinance said no structure other than a fence may be erected within 75 foot. So what I would like to do
Is that
is
referring to a regulated drain? What's that in?
county maintained ditch, stream, or other water body. So it's,
That could be different though than a regulated drain.
Yeah, our Indiana code allows them to put a fence, but it's at our discretion to tell them a 72-hour notice to move it at their expense.
and our ordinance.
Everybody's got a copy of that code. We made it this morning.
Yeah, well, and I put it on there too.
Yeah,
So
you got another one.
you've got the current area-wide ordinance, you've got your guys' code. On the second page, what I'd like to do is do a text amendment to the area-wide ordinance, which that has to go through the area plan commission, then up to the commissioners, and then out to the town boards, do a text amendment. What I looked at doing was taking your guys' code and incorporating it into our ordinance. Since you guys are the experts, I wanted you guys to take a peek at it. And, you know, are you okay with it? So that, again, we're on the same page. So I don't have contradictions to you guys in our ordinance.
And we think this is a
Yeah,
violation and
yeah.
take it out. So we got it, you brought it to our attention.
You'd still be doing the permitting, but it'd come before the board, before you do anything, right? We would look
Right.
at it.
Yeah.
And he wants our rules and his rules to be close to the
Yeah,
same.
well, if they come to do a fence, they could get a permit for a fence and be within 75 and we hand them a permit and they go.
Yeah, they need to know.
And then you guys show up and say, well, we got to tear the fence out. And they're gonna go, wait a minute. This ordinance says nothing about.
Right, that needs included, thanks.
So that's, you know, I thought, okay, I can take yours and put it into ours and get them on the same page. So that's what that is. So again, just kind of look over that. If you guys want any wording changed or anything, or if you want to get it down to 25-foot setbacks, just let me know. I can change anything you want.
No, I'm not gonna be in favor of any ponds in our easement, really.
You're gonna make that motion.
And this first page is just comparison to other counties.
Okay, now this one, the first one, there's your.
No, that's what's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, this is what I'm getting to. So this is in our ordinance as restrictions along streams. So that, with your approval, I will take that and I'll put it next to floodplain management within our area-wide ordinance. And go through the channels with the APC and the commissioners. My second question here is regulations on ponds. And again, you guys can tell me we're not worried about it, no big deal. I want to bring it to your attention because on area plan, we have people come up and they're asking, you know, what are the regulations? The Grant County area-wide zoning ordinance has 0 regulations on ponds, 1 acre or less. And talking to Jim and talking to the health department, if you want to put a pond in that's less than 1 acre, no one looks at anything. There's no permits, there's no monitoring. If you're putting it next to a septic, if you're putting it over a county tile, no one looks at it. So my question to you, we've had 3 different cases at area plan. So we've had complaints come in that someone is digging a pond and it's, according to the neighbor, too close to my property line. Jim went out and talked to the last one and they moved it a little bit, but then the guy took all the fill and threw it next to the property line and there's an 8-foot hill now, 7 foot away from the property. The other issue the health department has is they've got to be 75 foot for you guys. They have to be 50 foot off septic and off of septic fingers for the health department. But no one's even asking the health department if they can put a pond in. So no one's monitoring that. So my question, someone comes in and says, what's the setbacks? What can I do? I've got nothing in this book to say, no, they've got to be so far away. So what I've done is I have went and I pulled 10 other pond regulation ordinance from the counties that you see to the left. And put together when they require permits for ponds, what setbacks from property lines, right-of-ways are. State code as far as a setback for septic. The other thing is even who's responsible for ponds. And as you'll see, out of the 10 I've got, 7 of them goes to Jim, and variances come to you. The
I'm
others,
gonna be the pond police. I'm gonna need a new badge.
yeah, well, and that's,
New vehicle too, probably.
in the other
Be the
places, it
public,
goes to
can
the
you
area
track on
plan.
these strats?
Sure, it'll be my fault.
In the others, it would come to area plan, and any variances would go to our Board of Zoning Appeals.
But it shouldn't be that difficult. You can get the ordinance together and we get police to try and control it.
Well, and that's my next question. I've given you 3 examples of the ordinances I pulled. First, you've got Jay County. which their whole ordinance is one paragraph. It just deals with setbacks. Go to the next one, it's Wells County, and it's half a page. And if you go to the last one,
But
It's-
Jay, he's pretty thorough in Huntington County.
that's Huntington County, and that's how most of them look. So this could be a paragraph, a page, or a whole section in the ordinance. Again, you guys are the experts, so that's kind of why I'm coming to, do we need one? You guys want to see one with regulations, or do you want to see?
And I see where Huntington County has 10 feet from all property lines. I thought we wanted it more than 10 feet.
Right now,
This back.
we've got zero, right, I mean. That's just my question. My biggie for me is, what is the setbacks? And I'd like to see a site plan, so I know, is there a county tile there? Is it far away from the septic? Is it far away from the dwelling? To at least be able to say, okay, well, it meets all this. And I know if they build over a county tile, they're gonna have a hell of a time filling the pond.
But I can see somebody just going out and digging up a county tile, not even knowing it's there, you know, and
So we talked
tile
about,
outlet into the pond or maybe be cut off and then they'll have an outlet downstream, but I'm not in favor of any ponds being put in line of any county drain.
Even mutual or private drains.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's a 6-inch tile, it's draining somebody's backyard.
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to cut off your neighbor just because you want a pond.
Yeah.
That's kind of the problem with the solar unit, you know, you got private tiles.
right?
Not knowing where they are.
Don't know where they're at.
So you've got some of these ordinances that address it, just like we did with the solar, that you break it, it's gonna get fixed and to your guys' approval.
Yeah.
Huntington's got 2 pages.
It's front and back.
Okay.
So there's a paragraph, a page, or there's 4 to 8 pages, depending on how deep you want to get into it.
We need to read that and the board needs to discuss it.
Yeah, so I will forward, again, here's just my summary, quick look at with 3 examples. I can send you the others that I've got from surrounding areas to look at and just come back at the next meeting and, what direction do you guys, we can be as easy or as, we haven't had any huge problems, but it's something that keeps coming up.
Thank you.
And then one other thing, the DNR.
Yeah, did you go to your meeting the other day?
Yeah, me, two of my members of my office and Kenny. Out of 80-some people we invited. And I don't know, DNR just put forward that new July 1st law in the Indiana on the Portal 2.0 maps. They kind of got crappy and we're kind of talking about yanking flood insurance. Grant County. They just sent me an email today. They're going to do, they had that for officials, the webinar. They're doing an open house January 17th. That's a tentative date right now because they're going to send out stuff to all the citizens too. But we had no participation in it. And they kind of went through the whole list of how they could take away our flood insurance for Grant County. I don't, you guys have dealt with them a heck of a lot more than I have. I don't know if those are more idle threats than anything.
What do you mean by that?
If we don't meet the standards that they're putting forth as far as the maps, that they can, she went through and you were there too, Kenny.
They changed the maps and so on. So
Right, and I paid flood insurance on Taylor Creek because the FEMA bumped them stages up. Their new map shows me not in a flood stage. I'm on a hill. And it's $10,000 deductible just for the house contents. Well, the whole county's gonna be underwater if my house ever gets damaged. I'm paying the bogus insurance right now. And I'll never get no use out of it, $600 a year to FEMA. But if the DNR's got the right records, I want to argue with my insurance agent. I don't need to pay flood insurance.
How many places in Grant County would be flooded?
A lot.
Yeah, there's a lot, and we had, I mean, all of this came up through the Audley property that IDEM showed it wasn't in a floodplain fringe, nothing. They built the pole barn, 6,000 square foot pole barn up. And then when they were looking to the house and the septic location, the septic guy said, hey, this isn't a floodplain. And then that's where we found out about floodplain 2.0, that not only had it in the floodplain, but they had the buildings in the floodway. And that's still ongoing. And part of our problem was, even though I got a hold of DNR and even went through one of their webinars last year, they were still sending all their information to Larry Strange. I've been in every webinar for IDEM this year, but they're saying, well, you haven't even attended any DNR, so you haven't sent me nothing. They look, oh, well, we're sending it to Larry Strange. Well, he hadn't been here for 2 years. And that's part of it. But I also think that this is new enough and something came up with us soon enough, as it become new, that they're trying to prove a point. I mean, they're pushing that webinar. You know, I said, we probably ought to wait. Can't just do it next week. And they said, no, we want to have this done so we can do this here. Because we've got our surveyors and stuff, even with that Audley property, the surveyor used the IDEM map. Didn't use the new maps, which our GIS now shows the Portal 2.0 maps. If you get on there, it's the DNR Portal 2.0 now. It's not the IDEM maps. So, I mean, there's a lot of changes there. And again, this is kind of how, why aren't they telling all of you guys this stuff too? And according to them, they've been pumping you guys full of this stuff for 2 years. How in the world would?
I've never gotten anything from DNR until you started sending it
That's what I said.
forward and then.
I said, how in the world are our surveyors or drainage boards? No one knows about this. Our GIS, who represents 47 counties, only us and Huntington have switched to the new maps. Which means there's 38 other counties that still using the IDEM maps.
So what are you suggesting, or what do we gotta do as a drainage board, and what are we asking of the board?
I'm just letting you guys know that they're gonna have an open house tentatively January 17th. For the community to go over the new rules.
Where's that gonna be in the time? They don't have time set?
No, she just wanted to let me know a date. They're trying to figure out how quickly they can email out everything for it, and then they'll send out actual invites.
Because I've already made a copy of their new floodplain map, and I'm ready to send FEMA and tell them, hey, this is Trump. The DNR says this trumps your map, and you don't need my $600.
So yeah, I mean, they kind of went through, you know, if we're not doing this, and this, then this happens, and then we lose insurance. And they, you know, I'm thinking, oh, okay. And of course, I'm sitting there with my staff and Kenny. That was it. So I'm thinking, okay, what's happened in the past? You know, why are they being so, you're gonna be on this or not? But I got a feeling they're gonna have this community day, and it's gonna be me sitting with a DNR person going, huh?
I didn't go because I don't like their attitude.
Well, that's what I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Is it idle threats? Is it, I mean, will they actually do something?
And I'm just bringing this up, and this is outside point, okay? But in Florida, you got wind damage, that's one thing. If you got water damage, that's another. They come in to figure out whether you got wind damage or water damage. It's not that they want to pay, it's just, if they decide it's wind damage, why they'll pay if you got wind insurance, which is in this. This thing didn't used to be complicated.
Right.
So I guess we'll
Take all this under advisement.
advisement, see what's this.
You know,
He was posted on that meeting.
Yeah.
I'll go to that one and listen.
yeah, as I get stuff, I will keep,
Okay,
Do you think that 17 is an open meeting, or is it gonna be on WebEx?
it's supposed to be community for everyone. They're gonna mail every resident in Grant County according to the.
a lot of them will throw it away, don't know what it is,
Right.
but that's no
No.
ignorance of the law, you know.
But, you know, again, like, just the arguing of,
It was.
they've been pumping this information out forever.
Yeah.
I'm like, everyone I talk to, no one knows about it. You know, drainage board, no one, health department, no one knows about it.
Yeah.
So who are you seeing it to?
Say a lot of things.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks.
What, we got any other business that we want to take care of? Just take this under advisement.
Yeah.
Brought it to our attention. See if we can-
Yep.
see what we can do. Any other?
I'll make a motion.
Second. Make a motion.
Second.
We got a motion, Mr. Gibbs. Second, Frank Pinkerton. To,
Adjourn.
yeah, sure. I got, I couldn't think of the word. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Motion carried. Thank you.
And off the record on this thing Darren's worried about, because his program's not written to right.
Stop off.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. Well, his program needs rewritten or something. Yeah, because we should be able to allow to write that one off. And I'm not sensitive to nobody. This King guy that wants to file a remonstrance, he's wanting to call Leone and ask Leone questions. I've talked to Kyle.